Thank you for joining us at noon. We're under a winter weather advisory, but we'll get to your forecast in just a moment. But first, a man in Pennsylvania is being questioned in connection with a point-blank killing of UnitedHealthcare's CEO. The NYPD chief says that a tip led them to 26-year-old Luigi Mangione, who had a gun similar to the one used last Wednesday, numerous fake IDs, and had writings that appeared to be critical of the health insurance industry. Investigators combed Central Park this weekend, and this morning NYPD divers headed back to the park's lake for searching for a gun used to kill Brian Thompson. Also, new pictures were released showing the suspected gunman inside and outside of the taxi cab. Detectives also have a gray backpack that was also recovered in the park on Friday that they believe belonged to the suspect. All this comes as Thompson's family is set to bury him in a private funeral later today. NBC News will have more details on this case coming up at NBC News Daily at 1. And a jury has acquitted the man charged with the chokehold death of a fellow New York subway rider. Daniel Penny was found not guilty of criminally negligent homicide despite gripping Jordan Neely around the neck for 6 minutes back in May of 2023. The jury had been deadlocked on more serious manslaughter charge, so that had already been dismissed. Penny had claimed he was worried about the safety of those on the subway after the victim began acting agitated. Now, it's been a mess of a morning for parts of I-25 with snow causing some major headaches. You can see that right now. Here's a live look right near Castle Rock. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office says northbound I-25 at Plum Creek Parkway was partially shut down because of multiple crashes. You can see traffic there barely moving in this area. So, of course, drivers are starting to go really slow. There is one lane currently open. It looks like emergency responders are already on scene. So let's send things over to Chris Bianchi, because here further north in the Denver, there is no snow yet. So what should we expect, Chris?
Yeah, Brianna, I think we're going to be looking at that chance for at least some snow later on today. That snow will probably pick up for us. But right now, here at Winter Park, this is where we've actually picked up 6 inches of snow here in the high country today. But a new winter weather advisory mentioned. To be clear, it does not include Denver. It does not include the city limits, but it does include the southern and western portion of the metro area above about 6,000 feet in elevation. This is where it could be talking about 2 to 7 inches of snow between now and about 10 p.m. or so tonight. Most of that snow will probably come through over the next few hours. Now, a little bit of good news. We were just showing you the Castle Rock area and around Plum Creek Parkway where we had that shutdown earlier on. That snow is considerably lighter out there than it was, say, about 2 hours ago. That said, very different situation for us in Colorado Springs, south of Pueblo, where we're getting a band of very heavy snowfall right now. In the metro area, starting to see that light snow just trying to push its way on in. Issue is, here in Denver, if you stepped outside today, it's kind of classic chapstick weather. It's very dry for us in Denver right now, and that means that it's very difficult to get that snow to reach all the way to the ground. It's mostly evaporating. Meantime, Colorado Springs on south through Fountain Fort Carson, that's where you're seeing some of that heavier snowfall. We'll see that snow pick up for us here in Denver as we head through the afternoon and the early evening. That snow done by about midnight or so for us here in the metro area. Temperatures also part of the equation as well. Very cold in Colorado Springs. In Denver, we're above freezing right now, but those temperatures will drop. We'll get some snow in the picture. Details on that for you in a couple minutes.
Chris, thank you so much. The Denver District Attorney's Office has announced several indictments in what it calls a major stolen car ring. DA Beth McCain says this investigation was more than a year in the making. She says 17 people have been charged in the ring. They're accused of stealing at least 190 vehicles, most of which were high-end trucks between September 2022 and February of 2024. McCain says the trucks would be taken to Mexico and traded to cartels for cocaine and meth, which was then made its way to Denver. She says she hopes these charges send a message to anyone trying to steal cars in the Denver metro area.
These indictments should send the message that people who steal cars in Denver will be caught and will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
In total, the 17 people charged are facing more than 222 counts, including auto theft and drug possession. We'll continue to follow this story as it develops right here on 9 News and 9news.com. This afternoon, the Douglas County and Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office will hold a joint town hall to talk about the so-called dinner time burglaries. Investigators say the thieves that have been targeting luxury homes in Cherry Hills Village, Littleton, and other parts of Arapahoe County with backyards that face a golf course walking trail, or green area. They think the thieves wait until the family leaves the house, usually on a Friday night, then break in and steal cash and jewelry. Today's town hall is virtual, and that starts at 3 this afternoon. The department involved will also talk about the targeted burglaries of Asian businesses, owners' homes. Delco Sheriff's Office have a link to the town hall on its Twitter page, but we've also posted that website on 9news.com. New at noon, prosecutors in Denver have filed more charges against a funeral director accused of keeping a woman's body in a hearse in its backyard for more than a year. Miles Hartford appeared by video in Denver court this morning. Prosecutors have filed 4 more theft charges and 3 additional abuse of corpse charges against the former funeral director. All of the theft charges related to people who've told our Steve on Your Side team that they paid Hartford in advance for funeral arrangements. Back in February, investigators found the body of Christina Rosales, who died in August of 2022, covered in blankets in the back of a hearse at a home Hartford was being evicted from. At the time, police found dozens of other sets of remains. Hartford is due back in court in January. Arapahoe County authorities say a man tried to kidnap a child Saturday night, but they have yet to make an arrest. The sheriff's office says it happened a little before 10 that night on East Yale near Cherry Creek. Deputies say the man wore a Mickey Mouse hoodie and orange shoes. They say he was in a black SUV with a black Colorado license plate. The vehicle had the word watermelon in pink on the back and a Toy Story characters, Woody and Slinky Dog, under the right tail light. Anyone with information is asked to call the sheriff's office. That number is on the bottom of your screen right now. An investigation is underway in Boulder after police say at least 6 students overdosed at a frat party over the weekend. They believe it may have happened because of a tainted batch of drugs. Boulder police say when officers arrived on Saturday night, they found people visibly sick and throwing up. Narcan was administered and the 6 young men were taken to the hospital. All of the students are expected to survive. This happened at the Kappa Sigma House, which according to CU has not been a recognized Greek chapter at the university in 20 years. CU officials say the fraternity was expelled from an unaffiliated interfraternity council in 2015 for safety and welfare concerns. CU right now, they're working with Boulder police on the criminal investigation, and they will determine if any disciplinary actions need to be taken. Investigators have determined smoking materials were not thrown away properly and sparked the overnight fire that burned part of a home in Littleton. South Metro Fire responded to a call on West Bowles Avenue near Federal just before midnight. The garage was on fire when they arrived, and fire crews say the attic was also burned. Luckily, everyone had already gotten out of the house safely.